All right, guys, we're going to do some of these 20 tips from 5-minute sessions. So here's what we did. We had our stream this morning for our membership area, but I thought we would go live for everybody. And we'll do these tips, or at least a few of them. All right, so why did I even do this PDF of 20 tips for 5-minute practice success? The reason is a lot of times we think we don't have enough time to practice, or maybe we're not feeling motivated enough to practice. So what I did is there are several things you can do to kind of get in the mindset of wanting to practice and getting a lot done at the same time. One thing I like to encourage is to get a timer of some kind, a kitchen timer, and you're going to put 5 minutes on it. And then you take it in 5-minute increments, and I think you're going to get a lot of success by doing that. And also using a metronome. And what I've been recommending to everybody is if you go to onlinemetronome.com and open up a new tab if you're on your computer, 5-minute practice, onlinemetronome.com, and then you shrink the window down so that it just kind of lives up in the corner of your screen. And then you hit play and you're good to go. You can hear it from me, and I'm at 65 right now. I'm going to speed it up for the sake of getting a lot done in this session. So it's 82 beats per minute. And I'm going to go to, right now I'm just going to pick a certain thing. I'm going to start on page 2 and just do our most popular lick, the one that has over 1 million views, right? We do this at the beginning. And I'll just get with the metronome. Now I'm going to turn, let me get the chat up because I know we're going to have some people come in. Let me find that and we'll dig into this thing. Thank you for the likes that are coming in on this already. Okay, now we have the live feed. And then as people come in and want to say hello, and you can again like the video, that's very helpful. And that way I can keep up with you guys while we're doing this. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. So yes, we do have a membership area, and I go live at least 2 times a week. We have our Mondays and Thursdays, but also I do a lot of pop-up lessons like we did this morning. So we went through this PDF here, and right now this page 2, a great way to get going. Now when I go to F, it's the same fingering. Back to C. Same thing on G. F. Again. What I like to do is, if you have your metronome on, that's going to give you a lot of confidence there of being able to stay with the metronome. But also you can practice these things very slow and very straight if you're having trouble with the sort of a swing feel. So you can do three and 4 and 1. The ultimate feel that we're trying to get is almost like a triplet feel of 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 1 and then 2 and 3 and then 4 and then 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4. Let me stop it for just a second. I'm having trouble hearing my metronome, but also I need to slow it down. So I'm just turning it off for a second. Listen to this. 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 1 and then. So if you think of this feel as a triplet feel, 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and you think of the first beat, 1 and then. Sometimes people say 1 triplet, 2 triplet. I like 1 and then 2 and then. Notice that my second beat is on the third note of the triplet. 1 and then 2 and then 3 3 and then 4 and then 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then. So that's a mathematical way of kind of getting into that more swing feel. But at first, it's always good to play slow and straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let me give you one more tip regarding this. This is number 17 in the book. Measure 17, page 2, and we're doing quarter notes. Okay, so the tip is you have two fingerings. You're either doing a slide key from the minor third to the major third, or you're doing a hammer-on key. A hammer-on key would be D flat, for instance. And what you're doing is you're hammering on the minor third to the major third. So notice that I'm up into the key a little bit, and I do 2, 3, and 5. Now, if you can get this idea of the hammer-on, minor third to major third, getting up into the keys there, you have all of the fingerings for all keys. C is a slide key. D flat is a hammer-on key, and you get used to that. D major is a hammer-on key. E flat is a slide key. E is a hammer-on key. F is a slide. F sharp, you're up into the keys, and it's a hammer-on key. G is a slide. A flat is up into the keys, it's a hammer-on key. A major is a hammer-on key. B flat is a slide key. And lastly, B is a hammer-on key. You're hammering on the minor third to the major third. And then we'll end with C again on top. What a great way, if you're a little bit more experienced, you're more of an intermediate player, to do that in all keys. Another thing you could do is the same concept of playing my right hand lick, but I could change the bass. You know, we have our blues alternate bass line chorus where you do bass lines like this. And then I could go up to D flat. Again. Or D major. Or E flat. Or E major. F. So it's really just two fingerings. You're either sliding off or you're hammering on the minor third to the major third. Thank you for the likes that are coming in. Let's go to another example. So I'm on example measure number 20, and I hope you guys can see the sheet music. I did send this out this morning to our students, and we just been going through this. Like, what do you do when you want to practice for 5 minutes and you feel like, what in the world am I supposed to practice? Well, these are very practical, very good tips for you to really get you in the mindset of playing the blues and having a lot of confidence as well. So measure 20 is starting on that flat 7, da 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 da, right? That's a great way to get in that bluesy sound, da 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 da. And I'm actually, you can actually slide from the minor third to major third, da-dum. Or you could roll up from the D up to the E flat. That's a nice thing that I like to do, is getting to that third, even if I just roll up D, E flat, E. All right, so that's one tip. Now, when you go to the 4 chord of the blues, it's an F chord, but listen, if I change, instead of an E natural, now I go to the E flat. Even that one tip puts you on the flat 7 of the F. So I went from this dee da 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 dum, dee da 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 dum. There's your flat third, dee da 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 dum. Let me do it again. Or there's your E flat, gets you the flat 7 of an F scale. All right, that's a great example of getting something where you're starting on the flat 7. So it doesn't matter what key I'm in. If I'm in G and I go flat 7 of G, same thing, I get down to that minor third. If I'm in the key of B flat, right? So I'm getting a lot of ear training in at the same time. All right, so one of the next licks is you have those. Let's skip on down to 24. You had this idea of the A blues scale working over the C blues scale, C blues. If you're in the key of C, you can go down from C 3 half steps, and now you're playing the A minor blues scale. It's just like this C scale, but it's starting on A. What's great about this is you can play the first 4 notes, and it works over all of the blues scale, all the blues chords in the key of C. So as I play this, even when I go to F, even on G, you hear that, how that works? Very simple, and just 4 notes right there. What's great about that is it sets you right up to that major third. Sometimes even in your blues playing, you're doing all this where you're hitting that minor third, minor third all the time. It's nice to go the major third too. Third up to the 5th is a great sound. All right, let's keep going down the list. If you are enjoying this, let me see how many people we have watching this. I didn't even advertise that we were doing this, but let me see if we have anyone. I think I just hit live. Okay, so I didn't do any keywords or anything, so we may be a little low on the people, but if somebody jumps in, let me know you're in the room and just say hello. All right, let's keep going. I think we're live at this point. Okay, the next thing is we talked about this idea of da-dee-da-da-da-bum. This is more of a jazzy little concept, right? So we went from this to da-da-da-da-da-bum. This is measure 24. Now, why is this important? Da-da-da-da-da-bum. Because we're talking about target notes. A target note is, for instance, going to the 3rd of the chord. What makes it sound good in our improvisations is when we're outlining chord tones and on downbeats. So you have the idea of da-dee-da-da-da-bum, da-dee-da-da-da-bum, and we have E is our 3rd, and I'm outlining the chord changes. So da-ba-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-bum, da-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's my 3rd, and what this does is da-da-da-da-da-da. It outlines the triad, C triad, and my middle finger is on the 3rd, and then I do what's called an enclosure when you go around the note that you're trying to land on, da-da-da-da-da-dum. And I'm playing non-chord tones, so it's not in the C triad, but I'm doing the F, the E flat, and the E. Da-da-dum, and that's my arrival notes called an enclosure. Da-dee-da-da-da-bum, da-dee-da-da-da-bum. A great thing to practice, and you talk about ear training again, if I'm on F, da-da-da-da-da-bum, B flat. Notice that if I get into the triad, it sets me up to be able to play this in any key. Very simple. Da-dee-da-da-da-bum. And then let me go back to C and just demonstrate how you could use these 2 ideas of the first 4 notes of the A blues scale and the 3rd of the C triad to get you into those 2 ideas. So all day long you could practice da 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 da, and then I could go, when I go to the F chord, I go to E flat, da dee da 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 bum, da dee da 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 da. And then on G, all right, let's keep going. That'll be really fun to practice that, measure 24. All right, the next one is just a C7 blues scale idea. It's kind of a blues lick. All it is the C to the minor 3rd of E flat, and then you go chromatically, so 1 note at a time, going up to your G. And what's great about this is this has 2 fingerings to get into all keys. You're either doing a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, or in the case of D, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So those two fingerings will get you through all the keys, which is just a fun little tip, not for this teaching moment right now, but just to know that there are usually just a couple different options that will get you through all keys. But it's super important to know what they are, right? To get success, if I would tell you to play this, and play it in all keys, if you don't know to hammer on, that's just something that you have to learn, right? And with those two fingerings, it'll take you through all the keys. All right, so let's go down to measure 32, and this is a fun lick that's great for ear training. So and it teaches us a lot. We have the C6 lick. How do you get a C6 lick with a minor third to major third? I'm outlining a C chord with the addition of the sixth note and then the octave on top. So this is teaching us our minor third to major third, our fifth, our sixth, and our octave. And when I go to F, it's the same fingering. I'm just starting on F, and now I'm doing it in an F6 chord. And then G, I'm starting on G and doing a G6 chord. All right, now, what am I doing right there? I'm just taking two ideas from this whole PDF. I'm taking the measure 32, the C6 lick, and then I'm taking, on page 2, I'm taking measure 17 and just doing example 1. Putting those two together, this is a great way of having some what we call restrictive practice, right? I'm forcing myself to practice either this one idea or this idea. All right, now what I'm going to do is take it to the next level by saying, okay, one of the ideas that we said was nice to do is on measure 20, you go up to the flat 7, da 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 dum, da 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 da. So if we know that the flat 7 is a nice sound, what if I did on the C6 lick, I did this, kind of a Cruella de Vil. So we have this idea. So right there, I just said, all right, I'm either going to use measure 17 or I'm going to use measure 20 by just going up to that flat 7, or I'm going to use the C6, and that's going to be my restrictive practice that I'm going to do. And then I can mix and match even with those three ideas. And hope that you guys are having a good day. Make sure you like this video if you're enjoying this. And we'll keep digging in. Why is it doing an ad for me? I just want to make sure I can see the chat in case anybody comes in. All right, here we go. So this is me practicing along with that. I'm either going to use one of those three ideas. Here's example 1. Here's the flat 7. F. A blues scale just to kind of work on the fluidity of that. Now C6. F. what did I do right there? I just did, here's my C6 lick, and I just decided to do, there's my minor third to major third, and I went up the octave and did the same thing, right? So I'm still thinking about one of those three ideas. Isn't it fun when you can say, all right, I'm going to make music with just these simple concepts? And then you just mix and match and make it your own. As I was showing our student group this morning, is that you have this one example. I could play this example by starting at the top, or I could do up and then down. Or I could just go halfway up. Or down, up, down, up. And even when I go to the F chord, instead of going up to the F, I can go just to a C minor. And that's a nice sound as well. I could go. Now I'll go to the F chord. All right, what did I do right there? It actually was really simple. I did either blues example 1, right, number starting at measure 20, or I did the C6 lick. I actually did blues example 1, and then I went up to the top and did the C6 lick. The other thing that I did is I said that sometimes you just want to practice your blues scale either up or down just to get fluid with the scale, right? As a nice way to do a filler, to connect ideas as well. But what I did is I went to the C and I played the C6 lick, and then I went up to the flat third, which is a great sound. If I play this, and I can play the whole scale with my octave, and it's good to practice the spacing of the octave in your right hand. And that's why I like actually practicing the C6 lick, is a great way to get the spacing of the octave. And then you want to practice making sure you can play your blues scale and any other scale or melody with the octave. It's something we have to remember to keep in our repertoire, is being able to play the spacing of the octave. All right, let me keep going down here. Now this gets into a lot of fun that we had this morning with our Blues Academy. We did Ray Charles licks that go with this. So when we started last month, actually it's been a couple of months now, we started doing Ray Charles workshops, and we have all these PDFs that show you exactly how to play all these licks. And so in addition to writing out in the original key, we write that out in the key of E along with all kinds of licks. We also write things out in the key of C and other easily accessible keys. C is a great one. So on measure 34, and we did this morning, we say, all right, I'm going to use this sort of down home fingering, right, where I give you two options. You can either do 2, 3 up to 3, 4, 5, and then do 3, 3, 3. So there's a Ray Charles type fingering that you have to do, or you don't have to do it, but in order to get the sound you're looking for, it's a really good thing to do. And I had to learn this as well when I started learning about jazz and about classical music. And the idea of using 3 coming down was foreign to me. I was used to doing 4, 3, but I would be more likely to slide up as opposed to sliding back down with one finger. But once you get it, you kind of realize, well, this is why, to get that sound you're looking for. And you see people doing different fingerings, and you're like, why? I would never use that fingering. Well, there's a reason why. That's how you get the sound. So I wrote out I just wrote out one of the fingerings. I wrote out the 2, 3, slide up, 4, 5, and 3. But also, I've been teaching especially more beginner students to use 1, 2, 2, and then 4, 5, and then you do 3, 3. Practice this hand separate. And 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and then it goes to the triad. So we have a student group of, I want to say we're either at 15 or 16 people right now, and every week we're going through tips like this, and what I love is they love this kind of stuff, this idea of these Ray Charles licks. But what's great about it is, in addition to being able to play the Ray Charles licks as they are, like this idea coming up from What I'd Say, but also you take the same patterns, the same finger memory that we build up, and then you can actually do this on the third as well as, so this is building it off of the fifth note of the C scale. But you can also build it minor third to major third and do the same. I'm doing the same kind of fingering, but now I'm getting to the major third. Isn't that a neat sound that you could do that? So I could do. All right, you get the idea on that. And if you're having trouble with any of that, the way you're going to get it is by playing it slow and straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And even slower. 1, 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And there are ways I like to teach that. All right. So as a bonus, we did this morning. We went down to a great way. This is a jazzy 2-measure phrase that you can do. It's basically F-A-C-E, an F major 7 chord, but if you put 3 half steps down, you put that in the bass. Now you have a bass player is playing D minor 9 to G13. And then you have this. So if you take a very simple 2-measure phrase, and if I were going to turn on my metronome, and this will sound, I'm going to do like a more, if maybe for a more intermediate version. If you're used to, I'll put the metronome on 2 and 4 real quick. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. How about that? 64. So if you ever want to have the metronome on 2 and 4, you just start counting on 2. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So here's this starting at measure 45, and I'm just playing it as it is. Now watch this. I'm just going up by half steps. And what I'm doing is I'm either using a couple different fingerings, and that'll get me through all the keys. So you're getting a lot of ear training going on here, also building up some confidence. Now I'm B minor, C minor. Then you can start putting a little swing to it. Right? Let me stop there for a second. So after I do C sharp and then D minor, we start over again. All right, the very last measure 40, 47 and 48, you have this idea. Listen to this, what's called a turnaround. Turnaround is a set of chord changes that get us to the top again of our song. How fun is that, right? You turn on your metronome and you're playing these things. All right, I wasn't even planning on showing you that little tip, but isn't that fun that you can take these chords that sound great and you're now the bass player and the chord player, but also I can use these simple ideas that we've been doing in the previous examples. I can use 3 notes down from my C note and play the first note of the blues, first 4 notes of the blues scale in A over this C blues turnaround. So we have this. Or I could do this. Or I can even put blues licks with that. Or I could do the Ray Charles. And maybe a combination of that. Maybe go back to chords again. You get the idea, right? Mix and match and have fun with all of that. But sometimes you just need one simple idea that you want to do, and that's why I wrote out these 20 tips for 5-minute practice success. The first one in the whole PDF is this. Right? If you're a beginner, learn that, get used to that, and then maybe go up, try to do it in a different key. If you notice, the next two measures have this. Which is actually a very basic but very important jazz phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, ba ba da 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 da. And then the very next measures, you have measure 5 and 6. You have ba da 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 da. So anytime you're playing minor phrases, you can do that. Like a C minor chord, you can actually run up the scale. Even when I go to F. Right? The next one is the C blues scale, the first 5 notes. And you guys know that's really important to learn those and play them very slowly. But if you learn it in C, and then you learn it in other keys, like up a half step and things like that, it doesn't matter what key you're in. If you show up at your friend's house and they want to play a blues in the key of, let's just say at first it's C. You know that all 5 of these notes are going to work. We can do da 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 boom or boom ba da da boom ba dum da da dum ba dum 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 dum. I mean, so many different ways to turn around even these first 5 notes. And I actually wrote out a PDF, a beginning blues PDF, that has just tons of ways to turn around these 5, or to make these first 5 notes of the blues scale very musical. So you have da dum da 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 da. Or this. So it works over all of the chords when you're playing the blues. And even better than that is you have the first 5 notes of the blues scale. It's going to work in any key, over any chord. You go down 3 half steps, and now you play the A blues scale. You go all day long on that, right? And have fun with that. All right, I hope that makes sense to you. And what I would do for restrictive practicing, making sure that you're using something off of this PDF, you could mix and match all day long. You could do measure 17. How about the Ray Charles? what I did there is I did the C6 lick. So I either did the Ray Charles or I did example 1 or the C6 lick. So I did. Now I'll do the Ray Charles lick very slowly. And what we've been practicing on our turnarounds, the thing that you do at the end of the song to get back to the top, is one fun way is whatever key you're in this case C, I go down a whole step and then up a third to the C to E. And then chromatically, one note at a time to get back to the G. So if I'm the key of F, same thing. If I was in B flat, same thing. And then go back to the beginning of the blues. So right there, I did the Ray Charles thing, but instead of going down, then I transitioned to the first 5 notes of the blues scale again, right? I did getting up to that minor third, and then I went da 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 da. All right, that's enough for today. Yesterday was a lot of fun for all of my Blues Academy members. You remember that we did that whole workout on triads, which if anyone wants to give some thumbs up on this video while it's still up, and I'll probably do a triad lesson. There's so many fun things you can do with the triads. For instance, C triad in second inversion, da da da. C7, and then you go to the F chord, and there's so many different triad shapes that work amazing in your blues. And also, you take this idea of using these different triads to create, and these are major coming down, and then minor, 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 major, C7, minor, and major. But if you have this idea, you get that sort of gospel feel where you do C, D minor, C, D minor, C, D minor. And that's a great exercise to practice. So, anyway, we did a whole session on that yesterday. That was a lot of fun. All right, I hope you guys have an awesome day. We have 6 likes of this so far. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I do want to thank GP for sending those super thanks. It's a rare thing that I get super thanks on YouTube, but I absolutely am very thankful for doing that. So GP, if you're watching, thank you for that yesterday and the day before. And just your commenting on my videos. It really helps everyone out there. And also, I'm very thankful for our Blues Academy that we have. I actually have a special. I just left it up for anybody who happens to be tuning in still, or you're watching this on the replay. I have one of my bundles on sale, and it's a really awesome bundle. I didn't even realize how many courses it had in it until we had some people sign up the other day. So in the blues bundle that's on crazy sale, it's like one lesson with me, and here's what you get. And I'm doing this crazy thing right now, at least for this week. But you get blues volumes 1 through 4. You get the 20-minute practice tips. You get the blues bass line, alternate bass lines as well as the easy jazz course. It's like a ton of courses. But in addition to that, I'm giving away I'm giving access to our membership area. You guys have watched me teach from that, right? And so I'm giving it a free month of membership access, but I only want people who actually would really want to be a part of our membership group. And ultimately the investment is like 1 lesson a month for me, and you get everything. It's pretty awesome. I go live at least twice a week. We also do Zoom classes, and I give you tons of PDFs and material, just like this 20 tips 5-minute practice success. Also right now, for anybody listening, we're doing the Bob Song book, which has 19 songs in book 1, and we're going through there. There are blues, jazz songs, and all that. And guess what? I just send it out to my members. It's like you don't pay for anything extra. You just you're a member of the group. You get access online. You get the free trainings. You get all this stuff. So this for people who want to be a part of the community and have fun with all that. Other than that, you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys.